When looking back on photographs or video, film from the past, we experience a range of emotional responses, from discomfort to sadness, fear, yearning, nostalgia, sometimes, whether we lived in the time or not. We recognize these things as the past, but how? Why? What is it about this media that makes it feel distant or old? That is what we're going to be talking about today on the Videocast, our perception of the past via media. We will be looking at examples of daguerreotypes all the way through to AI-generated images, breaking them down aesthetically and contextualizing them, not only in their own time, but ours as well. As always, I am your host, Brian, and none of this is possible without the support of our patrons over at patreon.com/picsandportraits. We have a ton of exclusive videos over there, series like Future Film, looking at the future of movies, what I collect, vlogs, my book, The Nostalgia Economy. Physical copies are now available, but you can read or listen to it, the ebook and audiobook, for just $5 a month, and get access to dozens of videos. So if you like what we do and want to help make it happen, see more, please consider supporting us. Now, I'd like to start by looking at the Uncanny Valley, because I think there is some crossover between this phenomenon and how we see the past. This is generally a term used when talking about CGI or robots or any lifeless object that resembles human beings, including action figures, dolls, statues. This idea is we form a positive attachment to these objects the more human they appear, until they appear too human, at which point we begin responding negatively to it. This has something to do with its uncanniness, hence the name. We recognize many of our own features, but still there is something odd or off about it. It is strangely familiar, but at the same time alien. And that's unsettling. For nearly 2 centuries now, humans have had the ability to render accurate images of themselves. There were photographic processes before it, but the daguerreotype was the first widely available means of capturing an image. The subject's image would be rendered on a piece of silver-plated copper that had been treated with chemical fumes from iodine and bromine. It would then be exposed and treated again with mercury fumes, and in time, this created a mirror image. What you are seeing here is the earliest replication of human beings, taken by Louis Daguerre, who developed the process from around 1837. It may look like an empty street, but you can see here in the lower left the outline or echo of 2 people. This process took time. They were probably unaware, so they were moving, and so they're not as focused or in focus as the rest of the image. Moving forward in time and different photographic processes, images became cleaner, clearer. One of the ways we measure or understand time is through aesthetics. Our brains recognize certain things or associate certain things with the past. This can be as simple as using black and white photography as an example. These people lived in full color, but that isn't how they're remembered. Another example, the sepia color these images came out in or faded into has come to represent the period these people lived in. Different media formats are tied to different periods, as we are already seeing here. Things look different, not only the fashion the subjects are wearing, but also how they are rendered. With the move to film, moving images, things became even more lifelike. Life could be captured, moments as they were, rather than just how they were remembered. Same with sound recording. The example I always use for this is watching a home video of my 3rd birthday on my 30th, hearing my family, half of which, who had died, sing happy birthday to me was an absolute trip, both comforting and upsetting, and that brings me to the cause or main reason why the past feels so distant, and that's context. History. We are in the far-off future, we know what happens next, we know these people have passed on, that we are looking at ghosts. Genetically, they were not that different from us, they felt all the same emotions we do, but conceptually, and that is a weird way of putting it, but they were very different. Our lives today do not resemble their experience at all. Technology plays a big part. These images were captured by the newest tech back then. Now most of us have devices in our pocket that we can broadcast our lives all over the world in real time with just a click. We are connected to each other and the world in a way they just could not have imagined. Times are tough, may not feel like it for everyone, but quality of life has dramatically increased. Our life expectancy has doubled. Aesthetically, so much has changed. It is an entirely different world. So far, and I'm assuming here, but everything we've looked at is before anybody watching this video's time, so we are going to jump ahead to a time that is a little more familiar, the mid-20th century. This is subjective. Some of you might have been alive during this time or recognize more of it, but we can see definitely more of our world in it. The way we travel, the automobile, commercial flight, how we consume media, television, broadcasting, communication, long-distance calls, computers. They filled rooms, but they were there. While still distant, we can see more of ourselves and our world in the mid-20th century than the mid-19th century. Aesthetics can be used to evoke or harken back to the past. Like I said earlier, using black and white photography, there are filters that do a terrible job, in my opinion. Thinking of VHS, the 80s and 90s, the static, it's always too uniform in the filters. It's missing the randomness that just can't be replicated. It goes the other way as well. A great example of this is this footage of 1993 New York, shot on early high-definition video. It looks weird because this is not how we are used to seeing footage and people from this time. This is over 3 decades ago, but looks like it was shot recently. The clothes are different, so was the culture, but there is so much familiarity just in how they are rendered. Today, the newest frontier for the Uncanny Valley is AI. We live in a time where images, photos, and even videos can be generated by computers. Imagine telling someone from 1850 that. They'd probably look at you like the alien you are. This is footage from an image-to-video generator I used back this summer. I entered various examples of retrofuturism as prompts, and this is the result, which is awful. Currently, AI can just replicate what it is told to, what it copies or steals. It basically scans everything else we've looked at and morphs it, attempting to bring it to life, but it's missing what makes us human. And while I can't tell you what exactly that is, I can absolutely feel it. Anyway, these are my thoughts on the subject. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. That helps out a lot. Subscribe, share, and again, if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon. You can also become a member here on YouTube or give a super thanks. Everything helps. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. See you in the future.